Welcome to another episode of Just Meee Podcast, and today we are joined by the wonderful Lisa Kenevan. Lisa, please tell us who you are and how you arrived at where you are today.
Well, yeah, as you say, I'm Lisa Kenevan. I am the mother of Isaac Kenevan that sadly lost his life in March 2022 to a perceived online challenge. Who I am, I'm a different person to who I was before I lost Isaac. The dynamics, everything has just completely changed, and I don't know who I am, but what I'm doing is definitely something that I've been led to, guided to, and it's given me a purpose. And, you know, the smiles are different now. Going out with friends, doing things, there's always this niggle, that this is not right. This is not right. This is not what I signed up for.
Wow.
But thankfully, I have a beautiful daughter that inspires me, pushes me, and I just feel that I have a purpose here. So that's that may be quite diluted in saying like who I am, because I'm not the person I was before, and it's hard to actually put myself as a personality or a character anymore, because I'm a campaigner and just wanting the right in the world to keep these children safe.
Wow. And tell us about Isaac. Obviously he was 13, is that right?
Yeah.
And he passed away. So give us an idea of who he was, type of character, what made him laugh. What kind of young man was he?
So Emily was firstborn,
Okay.
and then we had Isaac roughly about 2 years later. And he wasn't expected, but boy, was he a joy. He was like, and it was funny because you had a daughter that was nicely sitting, doing drawing, and, being very girly. And then you got this whirlwind of a boy that was just like jumping from sofa to sofa, just wanting activity. And so it's almost like, oh my God, how do I handle this ball of energy? But then you get to realise that boys are different to girls. And so my husband took on the role of like, they used to do like little mini boxing things, and, that like the little rough and tumbles that mums don't really do, I did often, little rough and tumbles, but no, he was absolutely just, I can't explain it. He was a bundle of joy. Like when he was born, Emily sort of took it under her wing to be like the little mini mum, helping like changing his nappy, and she loved that role, like little brother, just to nurture him, and that their bond was very, very close. But yeah, his energy was brilliant, good sense of humour, very loving, and I've said it many times in interviews, just a zest of life. As he was growing, he just, he attracted people. And when you was Isaac's friend, that was really, really important, because he'd put his energy into that. And he had a couple of really close friends that I keep in touch with them now.
Wow.
And and it's hard because they're growing and Isaac stopped, but yeah, he was, like any parent would say, that their child was absolutely beautiful, gave you just beautiful energy, and just loved it.
And then in terms of, so growing up, pretty normal kind of family life, what was his kind of draw to the online world? How did that start?
Do you know what? He wasn't really onto his phone that much, but back then we have to bear in mind, because a lot of criticism is that, oh, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. We're looking back at 2022. We're now 2026. So in hindsight, I would never have given Isaac a phone that had social media on it.
Okay.
That's period, absolutely
Right.
period. So back in 2022, Isaac, bless him, asked and asked that, oh, please, can I have an Xbox, blah, blah, blah. So he saved his own money. He got his Xbox and he was doing gaming.
Wow.
We read him the right act again, like don't talk to strangers, people that you don't know, only do playing with gaming with your friends. You know, we did all that. We put parental controls on. We did the best abilities that we knew of back then. You
Mm.
know, it's different now because it's
Mm.
really alerted.
Mm.
And then, as I say, my daughter's 2 years older than Isaac, so she was at secondary school, and we gave Isaac a phone, but it did have some social media on it because he asked very politely, "Oh, can I have TikTok?" Because Emily had it, my daughter had it. We had no issues, so we
Mm.
said, "Yeah, why not?" Because back then it was silly dances, it was
Yeah.
bottle flip challenge, it was uniting families. And obviously back in the COVID times, there was nothing that you could see for the forefront that it was sinister.
Yeah.
And because he asked politely, you know, we said yes, you know. So he had TikTok. But then, obviously, as I say, when COVID hit, we had quite, 2 or 3 lockdowns, if I remember rightly. And so the phone and the gaming console was more of a connection to his friends. So
Gotcha.
that came the norm. That came the norm. And we didn't see anything unusual apart from sometimes when he was playing a game called Fortnite,
Mm.
he would get quite angry or aggressive because the game wasn't going right, and he would get quite angry at it. And we would just say, Isaac, this is meant to be fun. You're
Yeah.
getting angry. And he used to get sometimes a bit snappy with us. And I was
Okay.
like, no, this, like, his mentality was like in the gaming world. And then talking to us, because he was so involved in his gaming, we said, like, you need to either shut it off or calm down. But we did have curfews. We
Mm.
didn't have mobile phones in the or social media phones in the bedroom after 9 o'clock. That had to be downstairs or in my bedroom. There weren't any phones at the dinner table.
Wow.
Gaming was limited during the
Wow.
week. So back then, so we have to really remember this, Sid.
Yeah.
Back then, we was doing everything we thought was
Yeah.
being a good parent. But obviously, learning what's been happening now, it's out of control. It's out
Yeah.
of control. So if Isaac was here now, he would not have a phone loaded with social media.
Wow.
Absolutely, period.
Wow. And then what led up to, that day? What was it that changed? Did his kind of fortnight interactions change and going on to TikTok and things?
Well, it's really hard because we didn't see any change in his behaviour. We didn't witness anything.
Right.
Um, so we can only put it down to boredom
Okay.
through the COVID times.
Okay.
Because you think about it, these boys
Mm.
had been stripped back from
Mm.
football, going out with their friends.
Mm.
Isaac went to school out of area, so he couldn't easily quickly sneak out to his friends. It was all that, if I tried to meet up with one of his friends, I had to drive him out of area.
Right.
Back then, we were just so silly and just so blindsided about what was going on, and we was just sheep doing what we was meant to be doing. And believe me, if that happened again, I would never definitely not do that again. So he was bored, and I think he was either shown something or he'd looked at something and just thought, oh, well, they've done this. They've come out of it okay.
Wow.
They've got this euphoria. So why shouldn't I do it? He was highly inquisitive, Sid. He was a very highly inquisitive, highly intelligent boy.
Wow.
He wanted just to know the ins and outs of everything. He was just, yeah, and I don't blame him to be highly inquisitive, because this is what children should be doing. They should be, children should be pushing the boundaries. But because this evil platform has been ploughing negativity, harmful content, unbelievable algorithms that feel that a child wants to look at, he didn't know any different, because it was seen as a challenge, because he'd
Yeah.
seen about the floss, the ice bucket challenge.
Mm.
You know, he just thought he'd be all right. There weren't going to be a danger, because
Yeah.
he doesn't see the danger. Kids don't see the dangers.
No. And as you say, it was his curiosity, as was and is many young people, girls or
Yeah,
boys. It is that
yeah,
wanting to explore and just try things out.
yeah. That's the thing, because obviously what we're trying to do now is re-engage, reignite childhood.
Yeah,
Get
brilliant.
back out into those playgrounds, get back out into those woods, get back out into getting on a bike, sadly falling off and grazing your knee, and
Mm,
just
mm,
be a child, and being bored, boredom, be creative. This is where,
mm.
this saddens me that parents are like, oh, if we take their phones away, they're going to be so bored. Okay, let them be bored.
Yeah,
And also, as parents, we have brought these children into the world. It's not 100% the government's
yeah,
responsibility
yeah.
how your child has been brought up.
Brilliant.
You have a moral responsibility.
Mm,
Before social media, before
mm.
phones, before internet, you brought children in the world because you wanted to. You wanted to nurture them. You wanted to teach them how to be
Brilliant.
beautiful parents, beautiful human beings,
Yeah,
and carrying on what you instilled in them.
brilliant.
At the minute, some parents, I'm not blanking it all. I'm
No.
not saying that all parents are like just saying, oh, so like give them a phone, give them a tablet, like that's a
Mm,
new babysitting thing. But a lot of parents are using that as a crutch. They're using that as an excuse, and
mm,
it's not right.
mm,
We as a parent have that moral
mm.
responsibility, and bring back those old fashioned values.
Brilliant.
And I
Brilliant.
think that's so, so important.
Brilliant. And how have you changed? Because I mean, as a parent myself, I can't even imagine what it must feel like to lose, a child. How have you changed and used that pain, and you've pushed that into purpose? Because it would be so easy, wouldn't it, Lisa, to kind of to bury yourself in that sadness and to become bitter or withdrawn, but you haven't. You've used and channeled that to help other people, but also to try and change the law and to take companies like TikTok, to court. So what changed in you? Why did you feel that that was something that you wanted to do?
Um, well, taking it right back, the day we lost Isaac,
Mm.
in the chapel of rest, I was very, very angry at him. I was so, so
Oh,
angry,
oh,
so, so angry, because I just knew how intelligent my
mm,
little boy was, and just like, how could you do something so stupid? How could you think that,
mm,
like, you're going to come out of this the other side?
mm.
And I was extremely angry at him. And then I took a bit of a breather, and I just said, right, I have a duty of care of looking after Emily,
Brilliant.
and because I know how close Emily and Isaac was. So I said to Isaac that I will 100%, obviously with Dad as well, will be looking after Emily, and I will not go down. I will keep fighting. I will keep your name alive, keep your legacy alive, and whatever I can do, I will do.
Oh,
So yeah, so it was hard, I'm not going to lie, because I did want to crumble. I did want to go down. I did want to shut away. There were points where I just inconsolable. I just, yeah, I did have grieving therapy, and it was helping. But one huge saviour was that I met another parent that lost her son. And from that moment, we were a huge support network for each other. And then we got the bereaved families of online safety that came on board. And then we had this, I said to you the other day, then we had this club that no one wanted to be in. It's a VIP club. And so we had that connection, and we got it. We all got it. We all got it. If we felt really low, if we felt absolutely under the floor, you know, that we didn't have to give excuses, you know, and that is what's just got us through.
Yeah, that's lovely. I mean, it's lovely in that you kind of reached out to each other and support each other. I mean, you're asking some really tough questions, aren't you, of TikTok and other social media platforms? What is it that you want to achieve, by taking them to court or making them, or bringing them to book, really?
It's a long road, as you can imagine. But the saving grace is so many parents have now put lawsuits on into TikTok, Meta, Google, mainly obviously in the US. We are the first British families to actually take TikTok to court, to a lawsuit. And hopefully by, I think it's early August, we're here about the next stage, hopefully going into what we call discovery. So that means looking at children's devices and for them to actually look into the data. At the minute, they are claiming that they may have deleted children's data. Quite, all 4 children that you may have deleted their data. Don't buy that for a second.
Yeah.
So sadly, the only way to get TikTok into court, into a lawsuit, is money. And all parents, I'm talking all 4 parents, we don't care about the money. We want accountability. That's the crux of it. We do not care about the money. And it is highly insulting in one way that TikTok are going to try and buy us off by going like, oh, we're going to give you, I don't know, $200,000 or whatever it is. I really don't know and really don't care. And what is worrying is that we're going to get a backlash from trolling and things like that, saying, oh, they're only in for the money. And that is far away from the truth. We want accountability. And I would really, and I think quite a lot of the parents would like to actually refuse that money and push them to corporate manslaughter.
Wow.
But I don't know if that would happen, because I don't care if I got £10 billion. That is never going to take the place of losing a child, my child. I don't care. It might buy me a nice holiday. What I don't care.
Yeah.
And I don't want them thinking, oh, we passed them off, like, next, because they're multi-billion-pound tech companies. And just to palm you off, I just think is highly insulting. And I just think that they are, at the minute, they're perceived as like we're like the David and Goliath situation. And at the minute, the Davids are getting bigger. They are getting bigger because more and more families are filing lawsuits. And I think the tech companies are going to end up being running scared. And yeah, it is a minefield. But I really, it is a bitter sort of taste in my mouth talking about money. I hate it.
But I mean, the thing, we spoke about this the other day, didn't we? I mean, how do we get to this? I mean, how do we get that social media platforms are allowed and they think it's okay to push harmful content out, not just to children, but to anybody? I mean, what somebody's has made that decision, haven't they? It's like, oh, this video's fine, just release it. And
Yeah.
then for one child to die because of harmful content is too many. But it's not one, it's hundreds. And you just kind of go, at what point, is somebody saying that that's okay? Lives over money or money over lives. It's just nuts.
It is. It's profit over lives. That's how we name it, profit over lives.
Yeah.
You and I will never ever know how big these tech companies have got their hands in our governments. There's huge amount. There's huge.
Yeah.
Politics.
Yeah.
Economics.
Yeah.
And sadly, the collateral damage of a fallout of losing a child is literally, oh well, yeah, that's really sad. And then they put these bullshit corporate statements up on their platforms. We don't allow harmful content. We don't allow suicidal ideology. We don't allow. Really, I have reported. I can't remember if I said this to you. I've reported so many videos on TikTok that are called hold breath play with Minecraft style images or videos. So if you're just walking past your child and they've got their headphones on and they're looking at a screen and it's got Minecraft, this video is hold your breath to the end of the bridge.
Oh.
Yeah. And little clips come up. Are you still here yet?
No.
I've seen the Queen and I've reported those, and majority of those have come back no violation.
Wow.
So what do? So then I've taken them to the police. The police don't want anything to do with it because they've got no resources and they don't understand what the hell's going on. So then I took it to Ofcom. They do not deal with individual cases, which is such. So that's another thing that we're trying to fight for whilst this social media raise the age is going on. The Ofcom, sadly, are not fit for purpose, and we need either an independent body or Ofcom needs a huge, huge shake-up.
Wow.
Because if you've got a video that you report to TikTok or any other social media and they come back no violation, where do you go?
Wow, yeah.
Ofcom only deal with group organised issues, which is mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing.
Bonkers. So if a parent's listening to this, what advice would you like them to take away? Maybe they've got a teenager or they've got, a youngster who's, starting to use devices, or what would you like them to take away?
Okay, so first fold, young people, young children, say like from 2 up to 10 or 11, do not give your child screens or social media loaded phone. Just do not do it.
Right.
If you have to give them a screen purposely because of, I don't know, schooling and things like that, make sure it's limited. Make sure the school has implemented, safeguarding, the right safeguarding. You check that. You check what your child has been looking at, and almost play like the dumb parent, like, oh, so what you been looking at today? And don't create the them and us situation, because at the minute we do have a divide. It's about, especially with teenagers, that they are very protective and so right that they have their own privacy. But when it comes down to social media and gaming, no, I'm sorry, you need to know what your child's been looking at. So at a really, really early age, please don't give your child a screen. Try and make them go out and look at the world and understand, how things work in, like, just nature and, and if you have screen time, keep it an absolute minimum, but do not give them social media. And for the older child, you do have a battle on your hands. I'm not going to lie. When they've already got it, taking it away is really, really hard. I've said this as an analogy a little while ago, is that if you've constantly been giving your child fast food and then you're taking that away, and then you're going to give them good, wholesome food, you're going to have a backlash. There's going to be, there's going to be friction, if you like. But after a while, that's going to be the new norm. The wholesome food, the good, is going to be we've used again about the seatbelt or the smoking or
Yes.
the drinking, is that yes, it's hard, and kids will find a way around it. But even if we stop 15-20% of these children going on such harmful content or being shown harmful content, because that's the important thing, they're often shown it, they're not searched for it. The algorithms. I was on my Instagram obviously a good few months ago now, when the Charlie Kirk assassination happened. Absolutely horrific. I didn't even search for that, and that came up on my algorithm on my Instagram. Now, if I had a young child and said, "Oh, I have my phone," just like, no, just keep distraction, and that came up,
Surrender.
it's horrific. It's been desensitized.
Yeah.
It's the norm of seeing children either fighting in the streets, beheadings. Honestly, and I just say, like, please just hold off. Just do not give your child social media.
Brilliant advice.
I saw quite a fascinating quick Instagram thing the other day, and this guy was sitting in the car with his son, and he said, "Okay, so I'm going to tell you what my punishment was when I was younger.
Wow. Right.
If I was disrespectful or naughty, my parents would say, 'You're not allowed out. That's it. You're done. You've got to go to your room. That's it. Blah, 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 blah.'" And nowadays, he was saying, "So the punishment I would give you is that you have to go out to the yard or go out into the garden." And the little boy went, "Oh my God." It's like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
What will I do?
would you see that as a punishment? You going outside?
That's mad, isn't it?
That's so scary that is seen as a punishment, that you're made to go outside.
But so many parents, I mean, when you see, I mean, you must see it. You watch parents going to school, they're like this on their phones, and their kids are walking by their sides.
Yeah.
And I just want to say to them, have you any wonder why our kids want mobile phones and doom scroll like you're doing? But it's hard to say.
Absolutely. I mean, I honestly, Sid, I can talk about this all day, but the most really sad thing is when you see a young toddler in a pram with that screen, not even engaging, and then they're wondering when they go to preschool that they can't talk properly, they don't know how to go to the toilet, they don't know how to hold a pen. Yeah.
I know. I'm gobsmacked. I mean, I really am. I mean, I saw a child the other day who must have been 1.5, maybe 2, literally there with YouTube or whatever it was, just, scrolling through stuff. And I'm thinking, and it's like you said, what damage is that doing to that child's brain? I mean, I noticed with mine, I mean, they've got Kindle Fires and they watch Netflix and watch the kids' programs, all the rest of it. But I've noticed if they're on there for a longer time, they get quite snappy, like Isaac did with you.
Yeah,
and
yeah. The attention span as well.
And it's really odd. And it's only since I started talking to Ellen and Stuart, a few other parents, that it's really made me go, just observe how they are. And they are different when they're on it.
Well, I heard as well, I don't know how true this is, but Netflix designed their programs to make sure that you can actually multitask. So you could be watching something and you can still be on your phone, and things that are coming through, you still understand what's going on on that program. And you think about it as well, with a lot of the cartoons and stuff, like on YouTube Kids, and a lot of things that the children are watching are very fast, very snappy. Yeah. Everything's cut really quickly.
Yeah.
So when you sit your child down and watching like an old-fashioned film, their attention span is like, "Oh, this is boring." And like they like don't know what to do themselves.
That's so true.
It's
so true.
Yeah. we need to rein it back. And, you know, my daughter's 20, and thankfully she escaped a lot of this.
Okay.
And she's on the cusp that she actually appreciates slow move. She's actually studying editing, post production, so she's
Wow.
right into films and editing. So and she understands about slow things, and you know, she's not whipped up in all this. But like kids from about 10 or even younger dealing with like skin regime and
Yeah. I know.
honestly, it's just heartbreaking. And we need us as parents, government, the tech companies have a duty of care to cut their products are not fit for purpose.
Mm,
Until they are, they shouldn't be allowed on our children's phones.
mm.
That's the end of it.
And how is Emily with this? I mean, because she's lived through it, hasn't she, for so many years and lost her brother.
Yeah.
And it must be hard for her because obviously massive vacuum, but also it's all about Isaac. How do you balance that as well?
I've been very mindful.
Have
You
you?
know, I've shielded a lot from Emily when I've done a lot of talks and stuff like that, because when I've talked, I have spoke sometimes quite explicitly of what happened with Isaac, and I don't want Emily to hear that, because she was here when it happened, and I don't want her to have to relive that, if you like. But she, bless her, she's super proud of me.
Oh,
She's my number one fan. But even though she doesn't go to things with me, she's there going, "Oh, well done, Mum." And
wow.
I respect that. You know, I understand. You
Mm,
know,
mm.
I understand it's so hard. You know, someone so young to deal with such loss.
And it just shouldn't. It shouldn't be that
Shouldn't be.
way. No,
It shouldn't be. It
no.
shouldn't be. So, but no, she's a beautiful, you know, she's lovely, and she's not got bored of me going out with her, and
Hasn't
we have
she?
some nice mum and daughter times.
So she doesn't find you embarrassing. That's good.
Not yet,
Oh.
not yet.
And what gives you hope, Lisa? What's the thing that you really? Because I know you said it's beautiful, and you said that you made that promise to Isaac to uphold his, legacy and do all you can for Emily as well. But what really gives you hope? Because when you look at the news and the backdrop of stuff that's happening out in the world, it's not pleasant viewing or reading, is it? But what keeps you going? What's the thing that turns those bad days into good days? Because I know you have them.
Yeah, I do, but I I am a doer, and I try and keep myself busy as much as I can. And obviously, this campaigning, myself and my campaigning partner, we turned ourselves into a campaigning group called Be Challenge Aware, where we're going to schools
Brilliant.
and talk to the parents. And again, that's given us a purpose. And so many parents have turned around to us and said, like, thank you so much.
Oh, how lovely.
Didn't realise. And we've learned on that journey about certain things, certain things about like roadblocks and
Wow.
AI and misogyny, sextortion. We've learned that as we've gone on our journey.
Wow.
And so that has kept me going, and all of us parents. This journey will continue in different avenues.
Brilliant.
We won't stop, and sadly, different things will come on, and we'll have another battle. But we've got to almost a second wave of now that the social media raise the age is imminent. We're looking at spring next year. And so we basically need to hold the government's feet to the fire still. We can't just sit back and go, oh, well, they're going to do that now, because we got to make sure any little gaps need to be filled, and we need enforcement. So our battles still continue. We're still doing parliament. We're still, it's. And someone said to me years and years ago, what happens when this stops? I went, I don't think it will stop. I think we will still be continuing. Sadly, there's going to be new things, but the real sort of glint in the fight that we've all been doing is that announcement about social media raise the age. That has given us like we've been fighting for this for so long that we need to build upon this now, and we've got a lot of supporters behind us. We've got celebrities, we've got, you know, lords, baronesses, loads of MPs, you know, so that it's not what's the word I'm thinking of? It's not on empty. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but it's not all done for nothing, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
It's been building at the lowest. I mean, one of the bereaved parent that is on our group, she lost her beautiful daughter 12 years ago, and she's still campaigning.
Oh.
So when we got to this pinnacle of like the social media announcement ban, she was like, oh my God, this is like a line drawn in the sand, like, wow, and now we need to step over, and now we need to continue. Wow. So, you know, bless her, 12 years.
Wow.
12 years.
And the thing is, I mean, it's like I said earlier and the other day, you know, the stuff that you're learning as an individual, but also as a group, it's so complex, isn't it? I mean, even if you take Minecraft or any of those kind of social media, no, well, they're not games, or even the social media world, TikTok, you know, any of it, it's so complex, isn't it? And so multi-layered. And as you said, and I thought the other day, which was lovely, is almost play the dumb parent and sort of go, well, Isaac or Freddie, tell me about this. I don't know about this, and learn with them, because that's sometimes the only way that you can do it, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think one of the strong things to actually put out there is when your child is gaming, or on their phone, is try to make it in a family room. So you can actually look after, just look over their eye. If it's on the kitchen counter or in the dining room, just so you can have just like a little glance. And I think it's easier when they're younger. When they're older, obviously they want to be shut in their bedrooms. You know, I'm not saying it's not easy. You know, I feel for parents. I really, really do. It's so difficult. But I just think that, you know, we've got to think of a bigger thing now, that gaming is a huge issue with predators coming on board. Snapchat, Roblox, chat bots, you know, it is mind-blowing. And I just think that parents have got such a huge battle, let alone just bringing up a child in a normal way. You know, this is a thing that's tagged on. So I just think that please just do not give your child social media. They don't need it. They can't deal with it. Their frontal cortex is not fully developed to around about 25 years of age, I believe.
Yeah.
We as parents find it difficult, you know, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was looking at cool mats for my dog.
All right.
Because it's so blooming hot that I wanted to get my dog a cool mat. My whole feed on my Instagram and my Facebook is now flooded with adverts about cool mats. No, you know, and I just think that, you know, I just think it's so out of control. And I just think that I know a lot of people, well, there's a huge amount of people that are in favour of the social media ban, but you've got this pushback about, oh, but what they're going to do, like, oh my God, what they're going to do without their social media. We're not banning internet. So if they want to Google things in a right manner, they can do. If they're suffering with mental health, or so the government have advised they're going to put in, I'm going to get this right, £135 million infrastructure.
Brilliant.
For making sure kids are going to be having involvement in after school clubs, youth clubs.
Brilliant.
Holiday clubs. So again, government, and parents do have a duty of care to fill in that void.
It's
It's
funny,
going to be
isn't it?
difficult.
They've come up with all the money to put back in place all the things that used to work for us when we were younger. It's funny, that, isn't it?
They took all that. They took all away those youth clubs. They took them all away.
And they thought, oh, well, we'll just save some money here. And now look where we're at. I know.
Yeah. Do you know what? Mental health has cost the government millions, absolutely millions.
Yeah.
Absolutely millions. And when I sat, so we did the Prime Minister meeting last month, and he went round all the tables and he sat next to me, and we had all our children's pictures on the table. And I could see that he was visibly moved. You know, I thought he was a bit of a robot, but I could see he was visibly moved. And I just said to him, like almost like a finish up, I said, Prime Minister, can you just look at all these pictures around this room? These children will never have their children. We will never have grandchildren. They will never put into the economy. They have cost you millions and billions.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and he just tapped me on the shoulder and he went, I know, they're just beautiful children. And then he got up and he walked away.
Wow.
Because that's the reality.
Yeah.
The reality is our children have cost them millions and billions, and more so.
Yeah.
More so.
Yeah.
Mental health, you know, it's above and beyond. You've got poor teachers. They're not teachers anymore. They're social workers. You know, so.
It's so sad. And if you could describe Isaac with one word, what would that word be?
I didn't really think about that. Beautiful.
Oh, lovely. Lisa, thank you so much for your time. Lovely to see you in person this time.
Yes, you too.
And
you too.
I'm kind of excited to see what happens in future now with the lawsuits that you've got going and with the government. And I just pray as you do that things do change.
Yeah, it's snowballing now. You know, everyone's talking about it. Back then, you know, the likes of, say, one of the parents back in, 2011 or whatever it was, you know, it wasn't really talked about. It's quite a taboo subject. You know, even when we lost Isaac, it wasn't really like, oh, that's really sad, and like, oh, it's probably like a one-off, but it snowballed and everyone's now talking about social media, the impacts.
Yeah.
And I just think that we just need to keep creating noise. I think that's and the difference.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. All right.